have a book out called Things I Say to Pirates on Nights When I Miss You. So it's got 3 sections to it. The first section is persona poems and a fictional conversation with a pirate from the 1700s called Anne Bonny. The second section is called Fictions of Home, and it's fictionalized family history. And the third section is called Myths of the Body, and it's sort of an exploration of embodiments. I'm going to read a few from each section. What it is like to be a woman pirate. Believe that it is your luck alone that keeps the fair winds blowing, your swearing and cursing keeps the Royal Navy away, your sea shanties hold at bay the red sky morning. Believe that when Charon's boat appears in your scope, you will take the helm, forge ahead, away from the grim silhouette. Full sail, lads, let the wind fill her belly. Believe you will always make an easy escape. Charon is only an accident boat, and you are a great man of war. A husband is a wind always blowing in the wrong direction. A husband keeps you weather-bound at port, buffeting your bow with expectations. A lover is a fresh breeze against your unfurled sails that lets you go free. A lover does not have a house for you to keep, nor a bed for you to lie in. A lover bribes the alehouse owner, leads you to the storeroom. A lover takes you to sea in a stolen schooner, invites you into his hammock. A husband is a contract you can break. A lover is an ongoing negotiation. I am the captain, but you are the one who is always giving orders. And the men obey you. Do they obey because you are my right hand, help me to lifeboat headed to shore to collect supplies still under my command? I crush your whole body against mine when I kiss you. Cover your mouth with my own. I won't let you breathe until I'm satisfied. I ask you if you know that on this ship you are below me. Instead of answering, you climb into the rigging to trim the sail. You tell me you sense a gale is coming. Wanted, salty sea bitch, sea witch, musket-wielding buccaneer, scabrous strumpet given to swearing and cursing like a Jacqueline Tar, fearless female Tomaneer who never turtles in a storm, tempestuous mermaid siren with extensive portfolio of seductive serenades and documented history of compelling sailors to wreck their ships upon jagged shorelines, wind-weathered lass who can handle a cutlass, sore-fisted scrapper, loose woman with a wanderlust strong enough to match my own unnatural appetites. You sleep with your fingers coiled around the handle of a loaded musket. I sleep with my hands coiled over your breasts. You tell me I need to keep a weapon close in case of mutiny, in case of boarding, in case the lookout is caught off guard. I tell you I am a light sleeper, good watchdog. I will wake you at the first sign of trouble, and you will protect me. Dear Anne Bonny, all the things I wish for seem to be things I'm ashamed to be wanting in the first place, so when I get them, I can't enjoy them. Have you ever had this problem? Have you ever run out your guns, intimidated a schooner into surrendering without a single shot fired? The passengers are wealthy and have hidden their gold in silly, obvious places. Have you ever won a good day's loot with little effort, and then something strikes your sympathy? The tear the captain brushes from his eye, the way the countess's hands shake as she removes her rings. Suddenly, you feel like a villain, a bully. Suddenly you feel like a pirate. The gold loses its sparkle and you refuse to join in the crew's drinking songs of victory. You drink your grog quietly, swallowing it quickly, trying not to taste it because it is good to be alive in what you are. So good you are sorry for it. The moral of the outlaw. So it starts with the epigraph, Caput garot lupinum, which is from the medieval English common law, which is let his head be a wolf's head. The wolf's head becomes Anne Bonny. When the squall blows the cold sea spray against her face, the fur keeps her warm. It is good to have wolf sight, the better to see pursuing sails on the horizon with the night vision of her outlaw eyes. All outlaws are wolves in the eyes of the law. Because a wolf must have its prey, the merchant sailor becomes the deer in the eyes of the law. The pirate becomes the poacher, feeding on the tender meat meant for crown and country. By order of the crown, beaten by the press gang, tossed into the wooden world, does the deer ever dream of becoming a wolf with teeth as sharp as a cutlass, sharp enough to bite the officer's hand that flogs him? And Bonnie's howls of fury, this the deer remembers, how they bit into the royal privateer's courage, her paws clapped in irons all the same. So this is from the second section of the book. On the question of who is to blame. I nominate Catholicism, that lonely, lecherous moralist who chaperoned every trip to the wedding bed. It was you all the time, Catholicism, who told my grandparents, be fruitful and multiply, ×2, ×3, ×4, to unravel the rope, to tie the severed pieces of twine together in knots, extending it further, stretching it tauter, until there were just two interwoven threads fraying against one another, hanging below them a chorus of gaping mouths. When the doctor, a modern-day oracle, told my grandmother the 9th baby would kill her, it was you, Catholicism, who had so much respect for the fates. You, secret worshipper of multiple gods, it was you who made the condom shameful, the pill a poison. It was you who made my grandfather beg his wife to let him continue to bury himself in her tangles. When she refused him, when his daughter heard him crying, night after night, you were still in bed with the husband who slept with a pillow between him and his wife. Did my grandmother sleep through those nights? No one remembers which of them it was who decided that Grandpa should sleep in a twin bed in the garage for the rest of this afterlife. I think it was Catholicism who hid away the alternatives, stuffing them into its mouth like hard candies, so that all my grandparents could see was a pile of empty wrappers, previously filled with unspeakable sins. At least they could give up speaking to one another directly. The Lord Catholicism had blessed them with so many willing go-betweens, a house full of messengers without wings. This one's called Ragdoll Remembers. Every aging sinkhole house has a pair of sinkhole hands, each hand clutching at savage necessities. Paper clips, paint chips, bits of broken glass, waiting for the fools to call it sincerity. Standing out on the street, the body is unmistakable. Grass is the old woman's hair, her teeth gnaw at the soil like roots. When the ground is wet, like skin on the knuckles, you can see the old woman's hands. My grandmother's hands, the antique smell of her, the bulging veins on her heatless hands. Ragdoll should have known to be rebellious, should have had blue raspberry hair, dragon tattoos all over her skin, should have possessed violently discarded clothing, kept carefully in a state of lost, should have remained unable to hide her red-striped legs, flannel white belly. Crucial to remember the things we leave in strange living spaces, the empty cans in the closet, weak secrets turned sour and stale. She would never risk leaving the evidence in the trash. Ragdoll knows all my mother's secrets after I've forgotten or told them all already. Ragdoll knows to listen when she speaks the night to me, and the words are lost in her night delirium. Ragdoll remembers. What good little girls remember about themselves when their eyes grow small enough to catch hold of regret. My grandmother is a card shark. She deals them out, each card face down, never revealing the symbols she doesn't want read. The ragdoll is only, like all ragdolls, she is frightening and friendly, like all girls my mother never wanted to become her mother. Remember me stammering, trying to make my words sound cool, concrete, impenetrable, less like fingers grinding into fleshy palms. Claws make the moment materialize. A sort of dizzy conviction equivocates to faith. Must be 10 years she's used that same deck. The cards now sticky and bent. The window panes grow thicker at the bases. My legs melting. My mother's sweet vinegar sob shook our bodies. I told her, I can fix this world. I taught her to sleep. I'm going to read a couple from the last section and then I'll end. So, the last section kind of starts to have other voices who kind of talk about this question of sort of embodiment, particularly what it means to be a woman artist, in society as it is. So this one's called Ella Fitzgerald Tells a Love Story. I remember telling my teachers back in Yonkers, I want to do something. I want to make something of myself. It made them smile at me and I'd smile back, but they didn't understand what I meant. I hardly knew myself. I always had an image in my mind of the thing I wanted. When my mother died and my heart became heavy, they told me they had to lock me up on account of the heart. They had to beat out the heaviness until my heart became lighter. When they had beaten all the weight out of me, beaten away all of my sadness, I floated out of that place and landed at the Apollo Theater on amateur night. They called my name and I was afraid, but I was smiling. The crowd was jeering at me, asking, what's she going to do? It was then that I named the thing I wanted love and began making myself into something they could love. Before I opened my mouth, I was only a mirror in my used clothes holding my empty, hovering heart. The heavy crowd, upon seeing its reflection, was ready to beat the heaviness out of me. I did the kindest thing I could think of, and they loved me for it. I blinded them with light. So this last poem is called When the World Inside Her Leaves Us. We take turns holding her cold, thin hands, marvel at how close the muscles and bones are to the skin. When we noticed her body becoming lighter, at first we thought she was transforming into a bird, her bones becoming hollow wooden whistles like the spine of a kite. She was so susceptible to updrafts. From her perspective, it was the world itself that was flying out of her, fluttering off to the next well-kept garden. Her skin growing fragile like the creases of a well-used map, her body revealing itself to be only a modest cocoon for something larger. Stay with us, we whispered, even though we knew the hum of the oxygen machine was the starting of an engine too big to understand us. Thanks.